Ever since I was a kid, I was amazed by puzzles and riddles. I specifically remember buying an over 100 pages long book full with brain teasers and playing with it the whole summer vacation. Then came Agatha Christie and her crime novels, and cases that I couldn't solve no matter how hard I tried. If you haven't read And Then There Were None, you missed out on something pure genius. Fast forward a couple of years, escape rooms became a thing and started appearing in my city as well. Hesitant at first, I went to one and finally understood why people enjoy the idea of being locked in a room with a group of friends and having a time limit for finding keys, breaking codes, and escaping the said room. We yearn for adventures and like to solve puzzles and riddles, enjoy being little detectives that piece together information to find the big image, and feel awesome when the code on the numpad finally works. I am definitely not an escape room guru. I haven't played all the titles and I'm definitely not good at these type of games. Still, when Jeppe Norsker posted about 50 Clues, an escape room game trilogy that he designed and illustrated and Norsker game published, I was intrigued by it. Before we jump into discussing about the game, keep in mind that I have received free review copies of it and am doing this episode on Jeppe's request. This doesn't mean that I will be biased, still the protocol demands me letting you know this. And now, back to the stuff you came here for. 50 Clues is a cooperative, story-driven escape room game designed for 1 to 5 players. The trilogy is made up of 3 connected stories, and for the best gaming experience, you should play them one after the other. As the box points out, the game was made for a mature audience, and is not a title you would pull out to play with the kids before nap time. The first episode, The Pendulum of the Dead, introduces us to Mariah, a psychiatric ward patient. We are instructed that we will play as her and we see the story unfold from her perspective. This is not something uncommon, as most escape room games have us solve a case from the perspectives of the main character by following the instructions on the cards. The story, however, quickly becomes disturbing as our main character is determined to do anything to save the world. And no, we are not talking about buying eco-friendly stuff and protesting against global warming. We are talking about violence and crazy unorthodox stuff. And this is exactly what I liked about the game. Playing it made me feel like sitting in the front row at the cinema and watching a point of view horror thriller movie. I couldn't control Maria's choices, I couldn't choose the path that she follows. I just went with the flow and watched her do her thing. Obviously, it's hard to discuss about an escape room game without spoiling it, but let me tell you one thing, and it's not a spoiler. Jeppe closed with the 3rd episode the whole trilogy perfectly, so we could sigh with relief as we put the cards back in the box and closed the lid. This game gave me an experience no other escape room game did. The cards, by the way, are tarot-sized, so the pencil-drawn illustrations are really big. Just as in Schindler's List, the shades of grey are used as base colors, and the most important things, numbers, markings, drawings, directions, blood, etc., pop out in red. The art superbly accentuates the dark tonality of the story, and it also keeps you on track. The first card in the deck leads you to a web page that serves as a decoder that you'll be using throughout the game. Yeah, I know, phones in a game, ugh. Trust me, I hate tab-driven games. Still, in 50 Clues, the website and the use of a phone facilitated the flow of the game and did not distract us from the game at all. The website also contains a 5-minute long tutorial that teaches you how to play the game, and that has the same vibe as the trilogy. If you find it too dark, this game is not your cup of tea. Similarly to other escape room games, the cards in 50 Clues are numbered. When prompted by either the website or a card, you either draw specific cards from the deck or get rid of some that are no longer needed. There are 3 important clues you're looking for on the cards. White numbers mark things you found. Maps, a phone, key, or weapon, etc. When prompted, you would draw that card from the deck and place it in your playing area. Numbers in black frames are part of a code. You would enter these combined with other numbers. The tricky part is, you never know how many digits the black codes are made of. Numbers in red frames are associated with objects you had to use together. You would, for example, find matches and the candle. When walking in a dark room, you would use these together to make light. Once you think you know the code, you would enter it on the website in the corresponding row and hope for the best. If you guessed it correctly, hooray! You can continue with the story and you get the maximum number of points. If you get it wrong, you have to try again. But be careful. The more times you get a puzzle wrong, the less points you earn for it and the less your final score will be. I played the first episode, The Pendulum of the Dead, alone and ended up having around 60 points because I was kind of rushing through the puzzles. I asked for a lot of hints. We will get to that part soon. I played the second and third one with my wife. We took a lot of time thinking about the puzzles and we ended up having like 80-90 points. Most of the puzzles were difficult enough for us to enjoy them. It took some time to crack them, but they were not an impossible task. I enjoyed that they were really thematic, intuitive, and they intertwined. With a few exceptions, there was no time limit to solving the puzzles, and still I found myself rushing to find the correct solution because the story was really engaging. I was curious where the designer was heading with the storyline, what Mariah might do next, what we would find in the trunk of that car, or what was hidden in that odd-looking box. And a healthy tension built up in us as we were just going through the deck, pulling out cards and piecing together the information. Obviously, there were times in the game where I got stuck and I just couldn't crack the code. Now, 50 Clues helped me solve this elegantly. The website tracked my progress and knew exactly what the next piece of the puzzle is. You could ask for 3 hints. The first 2 gave part of the solution, while the third one gave you the whole answer so you can continue with the story. I would definitely recommend the 50 Clues series to whoever likes escape room games and doesn't feel uncomfortable with a more gory, violent theme. If you survived and whatnot, enjoyed the tutorial, this series will be of your taste. Of course, keep in mind that although the components are not destroyed as in the Exit series, because of its nature, 50 Clues can be played only once. Still, the enjoyment factor is worth the price. For those of you that enjoyed the 50 Clues trilogy, I have great news. Jeppe Norsker, the designer, is already working on a new series that will take us in a friendlier environment. So definitely keep an eye out for it. My name is Ollie and you have been watching Ollie Plays a Lot. If you enjoyed this episode, consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Until next time, happy gaming!